one of my friend Nadia Rawlingson owns the WNB team in Chicago. She's a very prominent Black executive, and her line is like, "I never lead with race." It's
Yeah,
just, it's a
definitely.
part of who I am, but it's like never the thing. And it just allows me to go in with such strength. So
Yeah,
I've
I
always loved
totally
that
agree with
line.
that. I hate the girl boss thing. Like I just think it's gross. And I hate when people are like the first female, CEO of Barstool Sports. I was like, no, I was the first CEO of Barstool Sports. I just happen to be a woman.
Yeah.
So I think, your gender, I think, gets in the way or matters as much as you feel it matters. And for me, I didn't really want to think about my gender at work. I didn't care to think about my gender at work.
Yeah, no, I try and use all of those moments to create motivation versus anything else.
Definitely.
So we've both scaled companies, and I'm curious about your philosophy kind of around that. So what are the key things you looked for before you started scaling? Because you talked about you guys were at 5 million uniques. And then how did you know there was real indication you had to scale? And what were those like inflection points as you kind of went from zero to hero?
Yeah, when I got to Barstool, I had beat a bunch of guys out for the job. There was 74 like MBA button-down shirt vest people wanting the job, and then I got it. So I was kind of worried about getting fired. So I had made this 4-year plan that we would make $25 million in 4 years.
Yeah.
And we made $25 million in 16 months.
Wow.
So the growth was just really, really aggressive. I think the big things for me were the people who were great in the company when we were at 25 million were not necessarily the great people at 50, and they weren't the great people at 75 or 100 or 200 or 300. And so really being cognizant of who had tapped out and how we added scale and how we added capacity, because the problems that we encountered at $200 million were really different than when I was trying to make payroll at $15 million. So really being cognizant of who can travel the ride. And I was always, I think very insecure that I be able to make it the whole ride. So I was worried about that. And then I wanted people who were also able to teach me and able to push me along that way. And then, the other pieces were, we made so many mistakes. Like we just failed all the time, and really understanding when we failed, why did we fail, and what could we do differently the next go around. And Barstool's kind of ruthless like that, where we were just really, really blunt about those failure moments, which were all inflection points. We thought we should go on television. We were on ESPN for one night. We got fired, and it was a huge moment for the company.
Was that the fastest anyone was fired from ESPN?
Probably. It wasn't the best. It was a little bit stressful, but it was a great moment for us, because what we did was we used it to position a David and Goliath story of there's this upstart in sports. Like, where did they come from? How did they get fired? Who are they?
I love that.
So what we did, I think, a very good job of in that scale is we brought our fans along with us.
Yeah.
And then we took the L's and made them into wins.